All right, welcome back. A few more minutes with Danny Seiden from the Chamber of Commerce. The business company Axon, most people know, started out as Taser, Arizona-built business, and the CEO says emphatically, building these cameras and the devices that are used in safety, personal safety, he wants to keep the company here. He said he's being forced out of Arizona. Can you explain what's happening and what legislation would do that would help keep them here?
Yeah, just a quick overview, because it is important to take it back to the very beginning. You're right. Rick Smith, born and raised Arizona guy, loves Arizona, wants to keep his company here. He has a board, by the way, that he has to answer to, and they are kind of pushing this to a head right now, because what they want is what their workers need, and that is access to housing and a campus at the same time. That's the way with these tech companies.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, It's important to note that Miami, Florida is begging for these guys. They are ready to let them break ground tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll cut them a check.
Right.
I mean, that's the stuff we're up against here. And so all Rick has done is said, he's worked with the city. They've put tens of millions of dollars, Mike, going back years, past the COVID, on how to build this campus. Then they start to proceed with it. Then an out-of-state union comes to Rick and says, you better give us a PLA, you better organize, else we're going to make things difficult for you. He says, no, we're not going to do that. I won't be extorted. So they start going forward. New council comes in. That new council, very anti-apartments, you got the NIMBY, label, not in my backyard, because all they say is 2,000 jobs, 2,000 apartments. Forget the 5,500 jobs. Forget the $21 million to their general revenue fund. Forget the tens of billions of dollars it's worth over the years, and not to mention bragging rights to have a company like Axon here in Arizona.
It's a $40 billion company.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm preaching to the choir with you, but for people that are watching, $3.8 billion a year in revenue, a $40 billion value. How do you not bring the world headquarters here? And the majority of the jobs they're bringing are people making well into the six figures.
Yeah, anywhere from 100 to 300,000, great paying jobs. But the city of Scottsdale is saying, we don't want you to have apartments in our backyard. You got to commute in. And Rick's board said that's not okay. He's fighting. He's down at the legislature every day fighting for it. But I'll tell you something else, Mike. The legislation, really quickly, what it does, it's bigger than Axon. Because what's happening to Axon in Scottsdale, it's happening to other companies up in Wickenburg, over in Peoria right now. This is happening all around.
Well, the Vi Resort, right?
That's right.
In
Glendale. In Glendale as well. So Glendale's working on this. Peoria, Wickenburg, all the cities, if they can, are going to push back on people who need housing. And housing's a real need. And no matter what anyone tells you, in Scottsdale, we're not overbuilt for apartments. They have a vacancy rate of 7.2%. The Phoenix average is almost 12. So they need apartments. And I think what Rick has done here with this legislation, all it is, if you make a certain level of investment, if you bring a certain amount of jobs, bring your headquarters here, you can have a housing allotment in your industrial zoning. It's good policy. I would argue it's going to be a national model when we get it done. Now, some Republicans will say, you're taking away local control and these people who sign a petition. But every year at the legislature, we work against the abuses of direct democracy. And there's no reason to believe what happened in Scottsdale is any purer than that.
And part of the housing debacle that we're trying to fix, the legislature is trying to mandate some things that the cities would have to do anyway. So this seems counterintuitive to what they're trying to do in other pieces of legislation.
Mike, you couldn't be more accurate. You know how I know those vacancy rates? The legislature requires the cities to report on their housing needs every year, because cities and zonings have been the problem. We say this all the time on your show. What do we need? We need more. We need more houses. We need more single-family homes, but we need more multifamily as well. We need more, all the above. That's what will bring costs down. That's what will bring rent down. And then, heaven forbid, maybe, just maybe, we can have a company like Axon where the employees can live and work in the same city, and police, fire, teachers, nurses, because the hospital's going across there, can all get in there as well.
30 seconds left. I need an answer. Does this piece of legislation pass?
I believe a variation of this, there's amendments coming right now that make it broader. It's clear it's more than just Axon, will get passed and will be signed, because we cannot afford to lose Axon.
No one knows more than this guy. We'll be back.